how do you prepare for this exam? Now, let us keep it very simple. You will realize that they have just 5 subjects. So the first is that December 1st Sunday is your exam. December 1st Sunday is your exam. 2 hours of paper. 2 hours of paper. In the afternoon, usually you feel like sleeping, and they ask you 5 subjects. So I'm just using small terms to explain you this. Reading comprehension. They ask you GK. They ask you legal, they ask you logical reasoning, and they ask you bit of maths or QT, you can say. So this is what your comprises your 120 question. Right. Let us try to go step by step. Right. So in month of December is the examination. It's a 2 hour of examination. So that means I should first have the ability to sit for 2 hours. Right, basic criteria. So that means if I have to qualify for the Olympics to participate, I should be there in the top 10 in terms of time factor. In the same way, 2 hours I should be able to sit in a particular place. Now just consider those are our students who are there in the 80%. Can they sit for 2 hours? No, right? So that's why you will realize that the coaching centers and all those things, always the sessions are for 2 hours, so that they get the ability to sit for 2 hours. One thing. No, this is not to bank that coaching centers are good and all this stuff. Disciplined students are able to sit. So the first and the foremost trait what you have to develop is that to sit for 2 hours. Correct? Now, at the same time, can you see that this test is in the afternoon 2 to 4, when most of us are like a sleepy mode, and they want you to read bore articles, passages and all those stuff which are very monotonous in nature, and they will ask questions out of it. So this also requires a trait that you should be able to read for 2 hours and should not get tired. Right? So this requires that in the next 6 months, as we are recording this video now, so we have good some 8 to 10 months of window. So a student should practice to read for 2 to 3 hours without getting tired. Right? So one basic skills which you can take it forward is that start practicing to the subject wise. See, this paper is very simple. Keep the preparation very simple. Fine. At the same time, as I said, YouTube is a very big source of information, but at the same time it is very distracting as well. Fine. So keep your preparation very simple. Very simple means what? They ask you reading comprehension. Reading comprehension. They ask you reading comprehension. They ask you legal and this. All these 3 subjects can be easily addressed by reading newspaper and working towards it. So I just name it as his. Okay, his I call it as Hindu, Indian Express and Business Standard. Just work on these 3 things. These 3 subjects will be very easily, not very easily I will say, but yes, parallelly it can be addressed. That means you are doing this activity and this also gets addressed. It is almost like, take an example like you are doing jogging. So your all cardio things automatically takes place, right? So in this way you will be able to realize that these 3 subjects will be addressed by these aspects. So in the newspaper you have English, in Hindu you have reading the editorial, your English gets addressed, logical reasoning gets addressed. If you are reading those legal articles which are coming from the Supreme Court and the High Court, which are connected in the news section, that will help you for the legal. Right, and that will help you for logical reasoning also. All connected topics are there. So by default what is happening is that this simple activity helps you to save a lot of things. Right, now the pain area is GK and the maths. Pain area will be and this pain area will be there on the D day as well. Right, so this will be always there. You can only just increase your comfort area, or you can say you can just subsidize your anxiety level, but still these 2 sections will always trouble you. The best way comes out with that after 2 or 3 weeks of reading of these 3 newspapers, you start extracting news. Important news from there and make notes. GK's only solution comes out to be the notes plus revision, because no other subject requires revision. English does not require revision, legal does not require revision, logical reasoning does not require revision, QT also does not require revision. This is the only subject which will require revision. So just make sure that you make a good notes, and again by taking some of the tests which happens on different, obviously when you are going to prepare, you will be writing the test. In the test you will be able to figure out what type of questions are coming, and those type of information you should extract from the newspaper and make notes. Once you make notes of that, and they make sure that you revise also, and that will take care of it. 6 to 8 months of continuously being done. Out of the 28 questions which comes in the GK, you will realize that 10 to 12 questions are very straightforward, which just requires hygiene of your newspaper, and that gets addressed, right? For the QT, if you ask me, just work on your basics of calculations. Fine, work on calculations. So try to see if you can speed up your calculation ability. So that means it can be in terms of tables, it can be in terms of the fraction values you are able to know. Take an example like 1 by 2 is 50%, 1 by 3 is 33, 1 by 3%, 1 by 5 is 20%. So these are the fraction chart which you should know. Tables you should know, table from 11 to 19. So these are the basic skills will help you to save some fractions of second in every problem solving, and that will give you mileage in the later part. Fine, just keeping these things simple, you will be able to do that. At the same time, there are two sets of students who are there. One is the part of the coaching center, other is the part of the self-study. Self-study group still requires some study material to practice this on. So get those well this. Apart from this, but if you ask me the core of this, your preparation should be 70% of your effort should be here. Fine. This will give you some tangential benefit. It almost looks like a sugar cane, you put sugar cane, you extract the juice. So you do this process and the juice is coming over here. You just make notes, and that helps you for GK. And for the QT, as I said, don't get much disturbed about maths. Maths is very basic. They just require 4 mathematical operators to be asked: plus, minus, subtraction and division, right? So just look forward to working on those 4 operators and work on your calculation. Basic calculation, tables you should know, fraction charts you should know, and just see that in every mock you are trying to improve your marks. This should be good enough to look forward to simplifying your process towards CLAT. Yes, dear one. Any other question out of the blues you have on for me? Anything else?
Anything like in your mind?
Anything?
Do you have any tips for effective preparation?
Okay. Now that's okay. Effective preparation in this case, if you ask me, one thing is that you need to have the desire. Right, one thing is that you need to have desire. So that means, take an example like